We are waiting for others. We have got a few more people to join. So we are waiting for everyone to join in, and then we'll just start off. As most of you must be aware, 1 second, please.
अब तो बोलेगा उस समय में सही से बोल।
Okay, as I was saying, most of you are welcome to Enark. Welcome to Enark's webinar on identifying special children in early years. I hope everybody just looks into your chat box. We have a few instructions which our team member, Enark team member has put in. I request everyone to just follow those instructions. And in another 3 minutes, we will start off with our interaction and the webinar.
Thank you. सही से रख पहले।
Okay. Good evening, everyone, to Enark. Before we begin, I'll just give a small gist about Enark. Enark Education is an edutech and we focus on the uplift of teachers, especially in the early years education. To know more about us, I'll just take you through a small video.
We cannot hear the volume.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'll just check it out.
There's no audio.
Yeah, 1 sec. So sorry.
Thank you.
I'll just start.
India, a country with the third largest
Is it
education
audible
system
now?
in the world.
Yes.
Our education system has a critical role in shaping the country's future. Primary education is a crucial stage in a child's life, as it lays the foundation for their overall development and future success. The era of technological advancement and deep research have brought us to a complete new chapter of the education system. But factors such as outdated teaching methods, lack of resources,
Ma'am, can you please
and
unmute the other
inadequate
person
training
because
for
it's very
teachers
difficult to hear it.
are many of the challenges we are still
ma'am.
facing. In a world where knowledge is power, there emerges a force that is shaping the future of education. Welcome to the world of Enark.
Enark Uplift is a EdTech model which we're focusing on developing the teacher training modules. So far, we have achieved 200 courses which we are going live. With teacher training, the reason of going EdTech model, why EdTech model, is there are teachers who are sitting either in Sangli or Sholapur or maybe Kolhapur or somewhere in the rural or tier 2 cities of India. Now what happens is they are aspirational teachers. They are not getting enough access because of the lack of resources to the right teacher training institute. So this EdTech model will solve this problem not just in India but globally.
I request others to please go on mute. Okay, so this was about Enark, and now I would like to introduce our speaker, Masrat ma'am. It's a great honor for me to introduce our speaker, Masrat Tawawala ma'am, who is an autism coach and inclusion expert with over 30 years of experience. She is the co-founder and director of Sundarji's Global Academia India, and she is also the CEO of Siyog Sundarji Group of Institutes India. So she is a passionate educator and has been working relentlessly to enlighten, educate, and empower learners. As an alumna of St. Xavier's, she holds degrees in psychology and education with certification in counseling and guidance. To top it off, she has been with a remedial teachers training level 1 to 5, specializing in education of children with special needs. If I am to talk about what she has been doing, the work is tremendous. She is a member of Maharashtra Dyslexic Association. She is a founder member of Pune LD Forum, and she has written various articles which have been published in various newspapers and presented papers in several national and international forums. I don't think there is anyone who could answer your doubts better than her regarding anything to do with special education. If I am to talk about awards and recognition of Masrat ma'am, innumerable. The latest one, if I'm to speak about, is she was a recipient of contribution in special needs education Sahyogita Award India. She has been awarded for exemplary work and contribution for inclusion preparatory years education by the Association for Preparatory Education and Research India. She has also received the Lifetime Achievement Award in appreciation for her dedication to education by the BJP Education Cell India. This is to just name a few awards which have been for her recognition. Now, as if I'm to talk about Masrat ma'am's work, she she focuses on parent-child relationship, teacher-child relationship, uh, behavioral challenges, and of course, as I mentioned, on anything to do with special children. She has also collaborated with hospitals and NGOs like Dinanath Mangeshkar Hospital to run the autism course. She has had collaborations with Akanksha to upgrade their inclusion program. She has worked on honorary basis with Helping Hands Vision India, Pune Support Group for Autism, and much more. I mean, I can keep talking about Masrat ma'am. Masrat, so now I hand it over to Masrat ma'am, who is the expert on this topic. And today she will be helping us with a much needed topic in early years, which is identifying special children and behavioral problems in early years. Over to you, Masrat ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. I think, am I audible and is my voice echoing? I need to say, because there are a lot of chats where everybody's written that the voice is echoing. Is it okay? Is my voice okay? Is it echoing? Okay,
Ma'am,
great.
your voice is okay.
Yeah. Good evening. I need mics mute now. That's the ground rule. Um, so it's Saturday evening. It's 4 o'clock, and you're going to spend the next 1.5 hours with me. And of course, after that, you need to chill and relax. Why are we all here? For a basic cause. We know that what's happening in our kindergartens, in our primary blocks, a lot of kids we have, children with, diversified challenges, needs. I do not call them special, but I know that they are in our kindergarten, especially. That's the entry point, and they are in our first and second grades. That it's a cause of concern, because if you are in research like me and if you're dealing in statistics, you will understand that it's growing exponentially. It's so wide and it's so fast that if we are caught napping today, we will have more neurodiverse kids in our classroom rather than neurotypical kids. So there is no choice left with us. We all will have to take care of these children. How do we take care of these children? It's not like a B.Ed course, right? That we do our 42 lessons and then we can teach. You are the best persons, the preschool teachers, the early educators are the ones who have the key to early intervention. And that's what I'm going to talk about. That you are the game changers, you are the key makers, because you are going to spot these kids. They can be spotted by 9 months, they can be spotted by 12 months, and by 18 years. So we have a lot of kindergartens who do mother toddlers program. So that's where you will spot them. Then, of course, 2 years, people enter the play school, the play and learn program, various programs by different name. That's where you can spot them. So today I'm just going to run through you the red flags. I've put it very simple for a common person to understand. I was told by Enark team, we have a lot of participants across various ages, groups, and of course coming from diversified backgrounds. So the ground rule is, let's make it very simple. We have a lot of takeaways. Pranna, please start sharing the PPT. So what is this early intervention all about? Like when we say that, we have to spot these red flags early. But how early? Can we spot them at 9 months? Yes, you can see the obvious sign by 9 months. Of course, if you've gone through a NICU baby, I'm starting right from the time when the mother's womb has got the baby. If the mother has gone through, like medications, antibiotics, certain kind of illness, that's where it's a cause of concern, because genetically there is a stress on the baby. Suppose if the mother has been under a lot of tension, has been, been compromised in her health with the proteins and with the vitamins and all, that's where it's a cause of concern. We don't know what kind of neurodiversity the child will be born with, but it will definitely have a stress on the baby. So whether the baby has got Down syndromes, autism, learning difficulties, of course we can spot it and as soon as the baby is born. But there are tests, there are markers, there are things that we can do when the baby is in the womb. let's get out of the womb. But if the baby has gone through stress during birth, like a very, very prolonged labor or less oxygen, that's where the baby picks up the neurodiversity. So there are various factors. Let's come out. If the baby has been a NICU baby, that in the neonatal ICU, that's where, again, a very prolonged illness for 2 months or 3 months, prematurity, the baby is definitely under stress. And because it is under stress, we do not know what kind of neurodiversity the baby can pick up. It's a long story to cut short. So that's what, when I see that when this happens, early intervention is the key. Before I show you this video, why is early intervention the key? So you need to spot, you need to recognize those signs, and we need to act early. It's like diabetes, yeah? You are all very scared of hypertension, diabetes, and you change your lifestyle. You start walking, you start having healthier food. Same way, if the baby has been under stress and we see the very obvious signs, the most important thing that we need to do is to start early, catch them early, because that's where the brain development takes place. There are so many billions of neurons waiting there to make the right connection. And those right connection need stimulation. They need the right kind of activities, right kind of stimulation. They need to be spot. They need to be wired again and again. And once they're wired again and again, we'll have a lot of the baby growing up in a beautiful way. Of course, it's compromised, but not as much as it would have been if we missed the early years. So this is just for the starters. The main course is still to follow. I'm going to start with a small video, which is just 2.5 minutes. Why is early intervention? And what do you mean by early intervention?
Too many
Just 1 minute, Pradnya. Early intervention is when you spot the child, start working on the child, don't label the child, start working on all the 5 areas, and after a certain age, maybe after 2 years, 3 years, before the child is 6 years, lot of symptoms can be overcome. I don't say it can be cured, but it can be overcome. So that's why early intervention. And who are the early interventionists who spotted? It's you, my dear friends, the early educators. So you are the key, not the B.Ed people, not the 5th grader, not the 7th grader teacher. It's too late. So before we start, please have a look at this small short video, and then we'll go ahead.
Face the kind of challenges or disadvantages that can affect their development and threaten their future well-being, health and happiness. And failing to intervene at an early stage can lead to a range of negative consequences in the future. For example, there's a link between behavioural problems in childhood and lower qualifications and earnings later in life. Poor social and emotional skills as a child are linked to academic struggles, poor mental health and relationship problems as an adult. These problems are likely to be more serious, more damaging and more difficult to address once a person reaches adolescence or adulthood. But these outcomes are not set in stone. Experiencing challenges or disadvantages early in life doesn't have to dictate a child's well-being and opportunities as they grow up. Early intervention can support 4 important aspects of children's development: physical, cognitive, behavioural, and social and emotional. Short-term improvements in these 4 areas can lead to benefits throughout childhood and later life, including improved physical health, improved mental health and well-being, better academic results and job prospects, improved behaviour, and a reduced risk of criminal involvement. Leaving problems unresolved in childhood doesn't only impact on the lives of individuals and families, but on all of us as a society as well. Effective early intervention can help to reduce the amount of support a person needs during their lifetime and relieve the pressure on our vital public services. Over time, it can help to build communities that are more resilient and more supportive places for children and young people to grow up. Preventing problems from arising in the first place or working to reduce their impact on people's lives is good for all of us.
Thank you, Pradnya. I think you need to do full screen. So why does early intervention matter? You've just seen in the video. Why? Because if you don't start at a very young age, at a very crucial time when the brain is developing, it will have a lasting effect in your puberty, when your hormones are changing, in your adolescent when it's a chaotic scene. The adult life is absolutely, correlated to your childhood. So if the child is compromised at a very young age, his interpersonal relationship, his stability, his job, a lot of things are at stake. And when we do a lot of research like we are into, we've seen that we go back to the case histories of childhood for an adolescent and an adult with neurodiversity, and we find out that in the early years, nothing was done to them. They were just left, denial of the parents, teachers couldn't pick it up, and ho jayega, papa bhi aise the, mama bhi aisi thi. So that kind of an attitude just goes on, and then it becomes a big, big, big issue. So you have to think of the adult life and early intervention together. So the connection is directly there. And let me tell you that the juvenile delinquents, the most of the ones who break law at a very young age, before tender age of 15, 16, they have a history somewhere or the other of compromised childhood and neurodiversity. So that is proven in the research also. So going further, let's go. Today, what are we going to learn? So today, agenda is it's like you've got a plate full of starters, main course, a little dessert. So we are going to understand red flags of ASD, that is autism. We're going to understand little sensory, because these kids are full of sensory issues. And you feel, oh, they touch everything, they run around, but it's not everybody touches everything. They have a lot of sensory issues. We're going to understand little about ADHD and SLD, because this is relevant to you. I'm not going into detail of globally slow learners or even intellectual disability. We are going to see that what is the actual developmental domains at 2 years, 3 years, and how that is a slightly deviation. And that's your checklist for you. I'm going to show you a simple method of observation and documentation as a teacher without burdening yourself. I know you have hands full, you're running all around, but the simple checklist would help you. And of course, how do you communicate with the parents? Because that's the most trickiest thing as a preschooler we need to do. And 1 or 2 case histories, so you get a better idea. There we go. Next slide. I think, Pradna, can you do full screen? Because even I'm not getting the full screen. Okay. You've gone off on this thing. Girls, are you understanding? I mean, you're not only girls, but there are many senior people who might be here with me. And I hope you are getting what am I talking about. Next slide, please. Perfect. So let's go to ASD. How many of you all know a lot of things about autism? Because that's where you need to be aware, scared, because you are going to get a lot of autistic kids. Today, it's 1 into 68, 1 into 36 is the birth of the children with autism. That high. So you are going to have a lot of kids. If you are running a preschool or you're going to be a kindergarten teacher, that's where you're going to get ADHD, ASD are going to be ample in all our schools. Okay. So like any other, can I have the chat box? Can I have the thumbs up? How many of you are known a little more in detail about autism? If not, you can just put your thumbs down. I will, explain you a little bit. I'll clarify all your doubts. So that will be good enough. Yeah. Developmental disability with the differences in the brain. It's a spectrum. But you know what is a spectrum? A spectrum is something that, it has like a line or it has a curve. So on the spectrum, you may find autism. Then you may find another kid with Asperger's. So in ADHD, you don't have a spectrum. It's just ADHD. But here there are children with, on a spectrum means there are many kinds of children with autism, but with different features, with different characteristics, with different red flags. And that's why it makes it so complicated. So we have a children with simple autism, then we'll have a child with an Asperger's, or then we'll have a child with PDD, that's pervasive developmental disorder. It means the child does not have everything about autism. It doesn't have all the features of autism, but it has some features of autism which makes it very tricky. And there is NOS, PDD, NOS, not otherwise specified. Not important for you to know, but spectrum means there are a lot of children with different ranges. You can have mild, moderate, severe autism. Mild autism, you can assimilate it in your school. Moderate and severe, let me tell you from the beginning, will need a special school. Now, what is the problem with them? We all know it's a developmental neurobiological disorder. Everything with the brain functioning is different in autism. The way the hypothalamus thinks, the way the amygdala thinks of different parts of the brain is all different. Autism, the word autism, ये autism is what? Autism means auto lock. हम हमारे खुद के अंदर हम लॉक हो जाते हैं. That is what autism is all about. ये बच्चा अंदर लॉक हो जाता है, खुद अंदर ही अंदर वो सोचता रहता है. He cannot communicate with others. And इससे सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम होता है. If you want me to use a little Hindi, please write it in the chat box. If only English, then I'll only use English. So ये सबसे ऑटो लॉक, ऑटिज्म को हमेशा ऑटो लॉक बोलते हैं. वो अपने आप पे कैसे लॉक हो जाता है? क्योंकि he cannot communicate with others. सबसे ADHD बिंदास communicate करते हैं, LD कुछ भी बोल देते. लेकिन ये two most important thing of autism is communication and interaction. दोनों take a beating, दोनों को मार पड़ता है. यानी मैं बोल नहीं सकता I want water, मुझे स्टमक में my stomach is paining, मुझे बहुत गर्मी लग रही है, I'm feeling very uneasy, मुझे खाना खाना है. ये वो कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर पाता. सो जब ये कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर पाता है, पॉइंट नहीं कर पाता, बोल नहीं सकता, मोस्ट ऑफ द चिल्ड्रन विद ऑटिज्म डू नॉट हैव स्पीच. तो बहुत ही गड़बड़ होती है. सोशल इंटरैक्शन, चिल्ड्रन लव चिल्ड्रन. दूसरे बच्चे को देखते और शुरू हो जाते हैं, उनके पास जाएंगे, उनके टॉयज लेंगे, they'll try to hug the children, they'll try to kiss the other kids, हंसेंगे, they'll feel so happy. But this child who's autism cannot feel comfortable in social setting. वो अपने खुद के अंदर लॉक है. He would like to play by himself. He would have fixed interest. अपनी कार, अपनी गाड़ी, अपना टॉय लेके दूसरे बच्चों को देखेगा, लेकिन खेलेंगे नहीं. So that is what it means by social interaction. वो दूसरे बच्चों के हंसते हुए खेल नहीं सकता. He won't be a part of the game. वो एक कॉर्नर में रहेगा. I'm not saying always, mind you, friends and teachers, हर बच्चा ये नहीं करेगा, but most of the kids will have certain red flags, others will have certain different red flags. But autism के बच्चों का problem यही है कि social uncommunication, दोनों, it takes a very long beating. It really becomes a problem. Repetitive behaviors, यानी repetitive क्या है? वो hands flap करते रहेगा, या फिर tiptoe पे चलेगा, या फिर he'll keep on doing certain actions like certain phrases. मुझे घर जाना है, मुझे घर जाना है, मुझे घर जाना है. He keeps on repeating those continuously. So that is the repetitive behavior. He does certain things, he makes sounds, certain vocal sounds, or certain hand flapping, or he does tick, like he do certain pattern of behavior which is repetitive. और उसकी एक कारण रहती है, वो इतना overwhelm हो जाता है, which is of course not for you because this is just a starter. इतना वो environment से इतना stimulate हो जाता है, like environment में ज़्यादा sound, ज़्यादा noise, ज़्यादा color, people आते जाते, that he feels very uncomfortable. And because he's so uncomfortable, he starts doing repetitive behaviors to calm himself. He keeps on saying, मुझे शांत रहना है, मुझे शांत रहना है. He thinks in his brain, and that's why he resorts to it. I have a lot of children, when that environment gets overstimulating, they will put on a hat and cut off the world. ये उनका peculiar behavior है. Or they will hold leaves. बहुत सारे leaves they will hold in their hand. So that, that's their guard when the environment becomes overwhelming for them. इसीलिए autism is very different, very difficult. Another thing is they have restricted interest. ये बहुत बड़ी बात. So observe children, सिर्फ एक ही चीज खेलेंगे. Like they will play with only one single toy. आपने उसको इतनी सारी toys दिए, the blocks and the cars and learning centers, but he will go to that particular place, particular learning center, pick up that one particular toy and only play with that one particular toy or two toys. Even in all your ruckus puckus, he will pick up his red car or his blue car. The color, he may not know the color, but he knows exactly what car to pick up. Means fixed interest. It is called fixed interest. Or sometimes if the doors are open of a class, he will keep on closing those doors. He will close all the doors because that's his fixed interest, to see all the doors closed. If he sees, things lying around, he wants to go and put it in that place, in that proper place. That's his fixed interest. So fixed interest, repetitive behavior, social no communication, and very less social communication are one of the main red flags of autism. Lots of sensory issues. What do I mean by sensory issues? Like sensories, too much of lights he cannot bear, direct sunlight, noise. So they wear this sound cancellation. Dusra bacha ro raha hai, autism wala bacha is getting upset. He will start screaming, he will start pacing up and down, and he will want to run out of the class. So it depends on kids to kids. Smell. Suppose if you are having a baking class, or you've made something which has got a beautiful smell or perfume or room freshener, either he does not like it or either he wants it. If he wants it, then what will he do? He will take the room freshener and then he will put the room freshener on, and he'll tell you continuously to put the room freshener on. So these are the things that he will want time and again. So sensory issues also are there. And as I told you, it is a spectrum disorder. It's on the spectrum. Next slide, please. So some early signs. I've talked about social communication. Most of these children find it very difficult to give a proper eye contact. Any child, when he sees his mother at 9 months, 12 months, what does the child do? Looks at the mother, smiles. When Papa comes in, says hi, bye, they exactly know what to do. But this child will not be able to give a proper eye contact. He will not even be able to give it for 10 seconds to 20 seconds. So that's a very, very difficult thing. And this eye contact does not come like immediately. It will take years, say 7 to 8 years, to get him a proper eye contact. And some of the children never look into eye to eye. Secondly, they don't respond to the name. So suppose if I said, hi Aryan, how are you? Aryan will be giving me a stone dead face. वो देखेगा ही नहीं मुझे. पूरा room में he will look here, he will look there, because they do not respond to the name. So there are proper strategies when we do early intervention, when we respond to the name. Suppose if the mother calls Aryan, he's not going to look at the mother also. He connects with the mother more with the smell than rather with the name. And even if he responds to his name, the mother will have to be tapped, will have to come near him, say, hi, Aryan, look into him, and then Aryan will respond. So respond to his name and respond to his eye contact is missing. He has very, very few gestures, like how children wave their hand, show happiness, smile, move around, run around, idhar udhar. Unless he has ADHD with autism, then it's another matter. But if he has only autism, then there are very few gestures he'll use. Like how children want a cookie, will go there, pick up the jar of the cookie, open it up, and tell you to give it. He may not do that. He may go to the jar, he will stand there. वहां पे खड़े हो जाएंगे बच्चे, और कुकी वहां पे दिख रहा है उनका, लेकिन वो बोलेंगे नहीं कि मुझे ये कुकी चाहिए. अगर आपने उसको कुकी नहीं, आप समझ नहीं पा रहे कि ये कुकी उसको चाहिए, तो फिर वो रोना शुरू कर देंगे या फिर हेड बैंगिंग, क्योंकि वहां पे बच्चे खड़े हो जाते हैं लेकिन पॉइंट नहीं करते. अगर उनको वॉशरूम जाना है, he will not be able to tell you like other children that he will want to go to the washroom. He may soil his pants, or he may go and stand in a corner, or he may go to the washroom but not show that he wants to go to the washroom. So gestures also very difficult, and very stone that expression. There is You know, when कोई आता है हमें घर पे तो बच्चा बहुत खुश हो जाता है. The father comes in with a toy. The child is very happy. Going out, the child is very happy. Most of the children on autism, I'm not saying all, do not have facial expression. They have a same expression. They don't show happiness, sadness, fear, sorrow. It's their eyes do not show any kind of expression. And that's why autism becomes very difficult for us to handle. But if early intervention is there, then of course it will move. We can do it faster. So far, have you understood everything? Any questions still here that I can help you to solve? I think I need a thumbs up in the chat box. So all of us on the same page. Very important, because if you don't understand the red flags, am I too fast? Am I too slow? Please tell me. If I'm okay, then I know that this is the speed, because we have only 1.5 hours and we have lots to cover. I've already talked about social interaction. Does not have interest in anything. Like even if you take the child to the garden in early stages, मैं early intervention की बात कर रही हूँ. Afterwards, when you train him up, the child overcomes all these symptoms slowly, steadily. Birthday party में बच्चों को ले जाते हैं, वो एक you know how when balloons are there, cake cutting is there, when the child happy birthday song is there, ये बच्चा is not interested in it. Maybe if he's interested in the cake, he will look at the cake or he'll snatch the cake. But he's not the part of the entire birthday party or the games or the balloons or things. Either the certain things are very loud at the birthday party for him, then he will run away. So there are most of the situation when he cannot interact with other people. He does not notice other people's expression. ये बहुत दिक्कत हो जाती है हमें. Because if you know, as the child grows old, 3 years, 4 years, उसको पता चल जाता है कि his mother is angry with him. Father उसके साथ उनको ये चीज नहीं देने वाले क्योंकि he's been very mischievous. We come to know the teacher is very upset with him. But ये बच्चा समझ नहीं पाता है the expressions of the teachers. जब वो ये नहीं समझ पाता, because he cannot process. I'm not going into the technical part, how the brain cannot process, उसका executive functioning और उसका connection नहीं हो रहा है. Main problem in autism is the connection with your frontal lobe of the executive functioning. I'm not going into ये doctor language में नहीं जा रही हूँ. I'm just telling you what the teachers need to know. But actually, there's so much behind how the brain functions in autism. What happens? ये क्यों expression नहीं दे पा रहा है? Why does he run away? So this is an interplay of amygdala, hypothalamus, and the executive function of the brain. So I'm not going to explain you. I'm just telling you these symptoms and red flags. So it's easiest for you. So also he does not point to anything. We have just seen in the previous slide. Now let me tell you about the play. What are the early signs? What does he not do? He cannot play simple interactive game. Passing the parcel, musical chairs, give the ball to this one, Arun throw it to Arav throw it to you. Either he'll leave the ball with himself, वो अपने आप से ball he will do. He will throw it randomly, but because he cannot respond to the name of the other child, he finds it very difficult to understand, okay, now I have to throw the ball to Arav. Arav will throw it to Simran. Simran will throw it to somebody. Or then his mother or the shadow teacher sits next to him and, tells him that physically makes him do a few things. Of course, playing with other children is very difficult. Pretend play. ये जो pretend play, which is the most important facet of childhood. हमारे बच्चे teacher बन जाते, doctor बन जाते. Why doesn't it come? Because the brain does not connect with those areas. And by the time वो connection करते हैं, बहुत time निकल जाता है. And there are ways to connect. So you cannot just give him toys and say, अभी doctor set के साथ खेलो. Your teacher बन जाओ, your bakers बन जाओ. It's not possible with children on the spectrum. So there are different ways. Strategies are lots and lots. So we are not talking about strategies now. I'm talking about the red flags. But this is what you will notice in your preschool grade 1 or 2 if you have a child with spectrum. Okay, so that's it. does not sing, dance. He may sing and dance. He loves music. He loves body rhythm, but not the way the other children move. So he will be like jumping, jumping, jumping and dancing, or he'll flap his hand when he's very happy, with that song. He will tell you to play that song. He will go and show you the recorder or your mobile phone to play the song again. He will not get used to the transition, like from one song to the other. You're playing Baby Shark, then you play Wheels of the Bus, and then you play another song. He will get very upset and he will want to play the song which he likes. So then he'll throw a kind of a temper tantrum, which you will find it's a temper tantrum, but actually it's not a temper tantrum. It's he cannot communicate with you. So that communication is lacking, and then it goes into a meltdown. So these are a few early signs. You will find a lot of these kids lining up things. They love lining up cars or any kind of objects in one line. And that's how you'd spot a lot of children with autism on the spectrum. It could be the car, it could be coins, it could be spoons, it could be anything, but it's a fixed interest. So they pick up that fixed interest and they line it up. They play with the toys. You have to notice this. This is very obvious sign that they'll play with the same kind of toys. Up itne sare learning centers, and you've got such beautiful manipulative toys. You've got block play, but he will pick up green color, all the blocks of the same sizes, or only blocks, and he'll play with the block. The other foam blocks or wooden blocks, he may not pick it up. He may just have fascination towards one kind of block, and that will give him a lot of happiness. Upset routine, when routine change हो जाता, this is a, ये बहुत ध्यान रखना है आपको. जब उनकी रूटीन चेंज हो जाती, सडनली बारिश आ रही है और आप सब बच्चों को बाहर लेके गए, लेकिन वो बच्चा बाहर नहीं जाएगा, बिकॉज उनकी रूटीन, उसको पता है कि मॉर्निंग प्रेयर्स है और इसके बाद ये है, इसके बाद ये है और मुझे घर जाना है. अभी बारिश बीच में आ गई और एवरी चिल्ड्रन लव, यू वांट टू टेक अ लेसन आउटसाइड, या फिर अम्ब्रेलास लेके बाहर गए, ही इज नॉट गोइंग टू लाइक इट. नहीं कोई टीचर आई क्लास में जो म्यूजिक है या कोई और चीज सिखाने वाले हैं, like a parent coming for chef's corner, this child is not going to take it in his stride. So उनकी फिक्स रूटीन रहती है. सुबह उनको वही बस में जाना रहता है, वही रूट लेते हैं. अगर पापा ने अगर डिफरेंट रूट ले लिया, he is going to feel very uncomfortable unless he's prepared for the transition. बहुत सारी strategies है how we prepare the children for routines and structures and transitions. As I've already talked to you about obsessive interest fixed हो जाता है उनका. Either it's one book or either Hanuman Chalisa. I will only recite Hanuman Chalisa or Bhagavad Gita or any rote recitation. Parents feel very happy that the child knows so much about Hanuman Chalisa or any other rote recitation. But that's his obsessive interest. Okay, like I told you, closing all the doors or closing all the windows in the house, or when he comes, he wants all lights on. So that's a fixed interest. I have a lot of different kind of children. Some children want to hear the pressure cooker whistle all the time. So that's another fixed interest. बहुत complicated रहते हैं उनके interests. And as they grow up, they don't leave those interests unless you do a very extensive program. I have one child who only uses one kind of bed sheet to cover, whether minus temperature ho ya plus temperature ho. He wants that same bed sheet. Now that child is nearly 15 years old. वो bed sheet पूरी फट गई है. The parents have tried to get different kind of bed sheet for the same material. फिर भी वही bed sheet the child uses. He does not sleep without it. So these are obsessive interests. बहुत सारा rocking, बहुत सारा hand flapping. These are the things. Spinning, flapping is when he gets very upset. These are repetitive. It is called RRB, repetitive restricted behavior. So ये बच्चे करते ही रहते हैं. And you'll find a lot of children doing that in autism. Next, please. Okay. So sensory issues. There are a lot of sensory issues. I'm going to go very quick. So it can be with the sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. But children with autism, we have 8 senses. So we talk about balance, we talk about proprioceptive and vestibular and interoceptive. So ये तीन senses, autism या children with neurodiversity में, they are extra, they are added senses. We need to look after them. So sight is some children love bright lights. Some children will not like lights and they will run away from the sunlight or the daylights, or when all the lights are switched on, they will close their eyes and hide in a certain manner. In sounds, they are oversensitive to sounds. Some of them means thoda bhi sound aata, they'll put their hands on the ears, or they crave for the sounds. Loud sounds, they'll go and stand in front next to the speakers. So it depends whether the child is a seeker or an avoider or a disregarder. ऐसे sensory में हमारे पास quadrant रहता है. Like when the child craves or child disregards, or then the child is a jumper. There are many categories of children in sensory. Smell, same thing. They love the smell or they hate smell. So when they like smell, they'll come near your body and they'll keep on smelling you. If you have put a perfume, they will keep on coming to you and smelling you or touch your hand. And you'll wonder, why is this child touching me all over the body? He's not touching you inappropriately, but he's touching you because he loves the smell, that the perfume smell. Sometimes it's different. The child hates smell, different kind of smell. Then he will run away from it. So if a guest comes in our house and says that, he's got a very strong perfume smell, he'll throw a temper tantrum, or he'll have a meltdown, or he won't like it, and he'll go away from there and sit in another room. So it just depends on child to child. Taste. Sometimes, and in fact, some of the smells that they like is urine smell. They love to smell urine, spit, petrol. They're very strong. Some of them are cravers and they need that smell all the time. So when they come in the early intervention program, we try to sensitize them and decrease their smell and come to an equilibrium. Taste. Some of them love crunchy taste. Some of them like slippery taste. Some of them like bitter. Some will like very spicy. So different children have different textures and tastes. So when you give them crunchy food, they will love it. Some children will not like crunchy food and they like soft food. So it just depends on it. I'm not going so much in detail, but this is what it is. And there is a sensory quadrant which we make in early intervention program. So once they fall into the quadrant, we do a checklist of all these sensory. We have a checklist, detailed checklist for it. And once we do the checklist, we come to know whether the child is seeking those smells or avoiding those smells, or he's just a disregarder. Nothing excites him, neither good smell, bad smell. So he becomes a disregarder. Touch is that's where we have problems in school. This child will touch the teacher, will touch the breast of the teacher, because he's craving for that soft touch. He all the time wants to touch things, or he'll have a fidget toy in his hand, or he like the slime that you have. It depends on which touch he likes. A lot of children love texture. The wall ke upar he will touch. Some people like the carpet that's in your school, so they'll remove that carpet. And if he's, he likes, certain children have pica, so they'll keep on eating the carpets or the collars or the entire ID card. So it just depends on what kind of touch they like and what they like to eat. And of course, balance is a problem. So they find it difficult to balance because of the midline coordination is not there. Some of them are vestibular. What do I mean by vestibular? They need to rock all the time. They love the swings. So they are on the swing, gym ball. They seek a lot of vestibular activities, rocking fast, swinging fast, or on the gym ball very fast, jumping on the trampoline very fast. And some of them, are proprioceptive seekers. So their joints, they need exercise for their joints. They need to calm their joints out. So vestibular and proprioceptive are something that we need to look at. Like even there's organization of space in the class. They wouldn't know, like, if you tell them that this is a square and you have to stand in the middle. So the position of the body in space is also very important. I mean, they lack onto it. Next, please. Pradna, next slide. Next slide, Pradna. Yeah.
Ma'am, just a minute.
Yeah, it's okay. Let's have that 30 seconds of interaction. How's it going? Are you understanding? Teachers out there, friends out there? Whether we just finished sensory issues and we have just finished the early signs. We've covered. So we've just, these are some of the symptoms that we have said. They'll cover their ears, eyes. They love jumping. I've already talked about it. They love increased steaming. I don't know whether you know what is steaming. Steaming means their RRB, जो restricted repetitive behavior है, वो बढ़ जाता है. The moment the environment gets very complicated, शादी में लेके जाओ, बहुत sound आ रहा है, ढोल ताशा बज रहा है, गणेश उत्सव में ढोल ताशा बज रहा है, the child is very disturbed, उनको ये sound अच्छा नहीं लगता है, तो वो steaming start करते हैं. यानी उसका जो repetitive behavior है, hands flapping और टिपटो पे चलना, swinging, spinning, वो बढ़ जाता है, क्योंकि he is trying to comfort himself कि मुझे ये साउंड अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, मुझे यहाँ से भागना है, लेकिन मेरे मम्मी डैडी समझ नहीं रहे और मैं यहाँ से भाग नहीं सकता हूँ. जब तक वो स्टीमिंग करता है उनको अच्छा लगता है, लेकिन ये साउंड जब बढ़ते जाता है एंड वो स्टीमिंग से काम नहीं होता है, then he is going to scream, shout, roll himself, and then he can go into a meltdown till the parents move away from that situation and take him away. Okay, that is what is steaming. Steaming means increase of repetitive behaviors. Difficulty recognizing internal sensation. So most of the kids on the spectrum do not realize they are hungry. They do not realize that they are in pain. They do not realize the fear that मैं यहाँ से jump करूँगा तो I'm going to get hurt. They do not realize those kind of stimulation. They are very aversive to food. They are very picky eaters. All children are picky eaters at a certain stage, but आप उनको mangoes देंगे, they'll happily eat ice cream, mangoes, or sweet things. Children love those things, chocolates and all. But this child, the best of the things the parents may get, but he may be a very picky eater, depending on the textures. So if he likes soft textures, he likes ice cream or soup or broth of soup. But if he likes only crunchy, you may give him the best of ice creams and best of milkshakes. He's not going to have. Okay. Frequent touching and aversive to touch. Either he loves touching or then he hates anybody touching him. So even if a mother gives him a lovely hug or on a birthday, he will push the mother or he'll push somebody who's hugged him. Somebody who's touched his hair, you usually ruffle the children's hair and you say, wow, how, give a high five. He may not like it. So these are extreme cases. So either they like it or they don't like it. Next slide, please. Is there a problem in changing the slide, Pradnya? So there could be other comorbidities. This is what I want to convey to you. There could be that now when more and more autism cases that we are getting, with autism, you'll get children with academic delays, you'll get ADHD and autism, you'll get children with eating and sleeping disorders with autism, you'll get children with a lot of gut issues, they have leaky guts, unki intestine mein there are leak kind of guts, they need gluten-free diets, or they cannot, there's more acid in their body, they throw up, they have a bloating feeling. We also have children with epileptic and autism. These are the comorbidities we are seeing now. We have mood swings with autism, which is becoming a big challenge for us, and anxiety and stress that leads to a lot of mental illness. That's why we say early intervention is a key. Agar ye early intervention we are not going to do, these comorbidities to hai hi unke saath. Mood swing, they are genetically born with certain things, but this is only going to aggravate, and then taking care of a child in puberty, adolescent and adulthood is going to be very, very difficult and very challenging for a parent. Next, please. Okay, before I go to ADHD red flags, have you understood autism? Any questions in autism? हमने very important. Remember those 6 words in autism: social interaction, social communication, RRB, that is repetitive behavior, problems with oversensitive sensory issues, these and fixed interest and obsession with lot of things. Agar ye 6 markers, if you keep in mind, you will be easily able to spot children in autism. So before I go to ADHD, if any questions on autism, you can ask.
Ma'am, there were 2 questions in the chat.
Can you please tell me? So the 6 markers, remember, no eye contact, gestures are missing, facial expressions is very less, respond to name is not there. First early signs, communication and interaction is very, very low. Fixed interest and obsession with one particular toy, object, or whatever it is. Lot of sensory issues. ये बच्चा sensory issues से pick up हो जाता है. So I've just talked about repetitive behavior, that is your hand flapping, swinging, twirling, spinning, and he will not even feel dizzy. He will feel so happy. He'll keep on spinning and he'll be happy. He'll keep on hand flapping and he'll be smiling. The other neurotypical kids do not do that, right? Any more questions in the chat box which I've missed out?
Ma'am, there is one more question कि
Yes.
ये सारे साइन अर्ली चाइल्डहुड में एक साथ दिखते हैं या धीरे धीरे दिखते हैं?
और यूजुअली ऑटिज्म के एटलीस्ट 6 या 7 साइन साथ में दिखेंगे आपको. एंड ये 9 महीने से दिखने लगते हैं. 18 मंथ्स में हम डायग्नाइज कर सकते हैं. We start early intervention as fast as 11 to 12 months. अगर ये साइंस दिखने लगे, we don't say कि ये autism है, we don't label it. ये साइंस दिखने लगे हैं, चलो let's start working on the child. The moment we start working on the child shows lot of improvement. Certain things will remain. Autism is non-curable. No diet, no pill, no stem cell, nothing cures it. ये it is till today. I'm आज की बात नहीं कर रही हूँ. आज का ये सेंटेंस है कि हमें ना मेडिसिन मिली है, बहुत सारा रिसर्च चल रहा है, ना हमारे पास होम्योपैथी पिल्स है, ना आयुर्वेदिक में है, ना स्टेम सेल्स में उसका क्योर है. सो दैट इज व्हाट इज रिसर्च. 5 साल या 2 साल के बाद मुझे नहीं पता अगर हमें मेडिसिन मिलेगी. Neither there is a vaccine to stop it, neither there is anything. So the only is early intervention program. That's the only thing that can help at this point of time. Okay. Yes,
मैम
somebody is asking that. हाँ, please.
एक क्वेश्चन है मैम. एक्चुअली मेरे स्कूल में 7 ईयर की बच्ची है, गर्ल्स है. सो अभी चांस है कि वो मतलब इम्प्रूव हो सकती है या
Yes,
फिर
of course.
या
See, आप ऐसा है ना कि आपका डायबिटीज अगर लेट डायग्नाइज हुआ है, फिर भी आप लाइफस्टाइल रिवर्सल कर सकते हैं ना. सेम वे इंसुलिन तक आपको पहुंचने की जरूरत नहीं. So you change your lifestyle, you'll walk, you'll do everything. Same way, adolescent तक रुकने वाले नहीं. चलो we missed the bus. 7 साल हो गए, लेकिन 7 साल से तो शुरू होंगे नहीं, तो फिर 10 साल में आपका बच्चा will drive you up the wall.
ओके, मतलब हो सकता है, चांसेस है.
Of course. We can even, we've got adults coming now. We've got adolescents 18 years, 19 years old in our program at Sundarji's. And we are doing the needful. हाँ, बस मिस हो गई है, बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, लेकिन nothing is impossible. And positive तो रहना ही है. There's no question of not being positive. And of course, it is genetic. Everything is genetic today. Your hair color is also genetic. Your eyes is also genetic. So autism is also genetic. Genetic and environment, दोनों मिला के autism का बच्चा होता है. It's not only genetic. Something that you genetic genes are responsible for it, but environment ज़्यादा है, like your screen time, your birth time, stress time, tension कितना लिया है आपने pregnancy में, those are more important than the genetic. Genetic है, लेकिन अगर आपने environment आपका बहुत crazy हो गया है, then definitely it is going to affect the child more. Okay.
But इस समय क्या करना चाहिए पेरेंट्स ने like
For another day, pregnancy, if you have आपके फैमिली में अगर LD है, ADHD है, डाउन सिंड्रोम है, डेवलपमेंटल डिलेज है, कोई भी फैमिली में मदर साइड, फादर साइड, you need before pregnancy, you need to understand, go for genetic testing, go for a lot of other testing. The most important is more than genetics, आपका जो अल्कोहल कंटेंट है फादर का या मदर का अल्कोहल, शी स्मोकिंग, all those will have more effect. Sperm count of the father goes down because of all the vices, and these vices affect the baby, what you are giving to the baby more in autism. Genetic to hai one factor, but the environment plays a very important role. So you need to have all these doubts, and of course the late age. जैसे पहले हम सोच रहे थे ना, people get married young, they have children at 24, 25. Abhi, that is still the best. You now you're saying हमें career बनाना है 31, 32, 33, 34. Your late marriage is a key factor in, that's why I'm saying environment. Children are being born and your radiation through all your screen. ये 5G जो हम दे रहे, radiation is very high, right? So बहुत सारे environmental factors which is having neurodiverse kids more than necessary. पहले नहीं था इतना. And of course, the awareness is also increasing. So dono hai. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good
Any
evening,
more
ma'am.
question? Yes.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Sangeeta.
Yes, tell me, Sangeeta.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, like, is it mandatorily that all these signs will be presented during early stages, or can they arise all of a sudden during later stage also?
That's called there's something called virtual autism. That is when, because of the screen time, and then it's called something called regressive autism. Regressive autism is spotted after 3 years. There is also regressive autism when a child has a life-threatening disease like cancer or something, when he's undergone chemo. So that becomes a regressive autism, or he's got trauma to the brain. But usually if the child is born with autistic characteristics, red flags, you will spot it during the first few years. That's it. Okay. Let me go on to the ADHD red flag. So I think we've completed autism. Good to go. Let's go quickly. We have just 1.5 hours and it's already 5. And I have so much to give you. Again, ADHD is neuro-behavioral developmental disorder. It develops. It's neuro. It's got to do with the chemicals of the brain. It's neurobiological. So brain is involved. It's mostly ADHD's chemicals, neurons of the brain interact to produce this developmental disorder, affecting preschoolers, children, adolescents, and adults. So ADHD adult tak aapke saath rehta hai. It's not that the ADHD bacha is suddenly very good when he's 10 years old and excellent when he's adolescent and in adult life. ADHD, again, same way, early intervention and lifelong management of ADHD hona hi chahiye. Otherwise, this child, once he becomes adolescence or puberty, will, get into wrong side of the laws and those kind of things. So management of ADHD is throughout life. Either the parents are managing, the wife is managing, or later on, the colleagues are managing. So I just wanted to tell you that none of these things you say it goes. Again, ADHD ke koi pill nahi hai, but the symptoms of ADHD can be controlled to a certain extent with medications, which have to be given under observation and seeing a lot of factors for the children. Medications nahi de sakte aise jaise aap soch rahe ho. So it has to be understood. So ADHD के 4 main words are there. Keep in mind hyperactivity. हर बच्चा hyper नहीं होता, overactive रहता है. Hyper और overactive में बहुत फर्क है. Overactive is he loves activities, he loves stimulation और वो करते रहता है. But he concentrates. Hyperactive बच्चा best of activity दो 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds के बाद दूसरी activity, के बाद दूसरी activity. He just keeps on jumping and flitting from one activity to another. Overactive with concentrate. अच्छा लगा बैठ के 10 मिनट puzzle करेगा, drawing करेगा, do it and then get up and move around. But hyperactive is different from overactivity. We teachers always say, "Arey, this child is very hyper." First, see whether he's overactive or whether he is hyper. Inattention. After a certain age, in 3 years, you will be able to attend to a task for 7 minutes. जैसे आपकी age बढ़ती रहती है, आप attention on that task keeps on increasing. You're writing, you will sit and write straight lines, you'll draw on the slate, you'll do chalk art, you will do block play, water play. You are attending to that task and you are enjoying, you are understanding it, what you are doing. But this child understands the task but cannot attend to it in detail. Detailing wo nahi kar payega. It could be any task, writing, reading, or playing games, or going out in the garden. So attention to detail is missing. So attention to detail comes over with age, right? He forgets the sequence of the task. He knows the task. Okay, now I have to pick up a pencil, I have to open my book, I have to write, I have to close, keep it on the teacher's desk, or whatever it is. But he misses the detailing of the task. So he forgets in between what is it. So hyperactivity and most disorganized. So his bags and books and all are in a mess. His, when you see his cupboards a little later on, all the t-shirts are in a mess. He cannot organize. As you grow older, you're more organized in your first period, second period. Morning, you'll come and put your books. Even small children put their bags and water bottles in a place, and they're told to remove the shoes and put it in the line. This is, I find it difficult to do. Distracted. The moment there is something happening in the class, he's getting distracted. Somebody walks in, another child walks in, he's distracted. When a child screams in the class, he looks there, he'll get up and he'll go to their place. So the slightest of the things, whether it's a noise or somebody walking in or the bell ringing or anything like that, gets him distracted. Even the wind blowing inside or suddenly a light coming inside, he will go to the window and look at the sunlight, or you'll see the children playing. So these words are very important. And if you see hyperactivity, disorganization, inattentive, and also disinhibition. Inhibition is he's very bindas. He will tell you anything. Mujhe aap achhe nahi lag rahe ho. Your dress is not nice. He'll blurt out answers in between, or he'll just get up 10 times. So there's no inhibition for him. He laughs suddenly. So when you see these 6 traits over and above a period of 6 months in certain duration, frequency, then you say that the child is ADHD. Suddenly, if you see it for 1 month, it could be situational ADHD. What is situational or secondary ADHD? That a child, grandparents had come and they have gone. He loved his grandparents. 6 mahina ruk ke gaye hai. Or his dog has died, or his sibling has moved to a boarding school, or his parents have separated, or his father has gone on board or offshore for work, then again he will show the same symptoms. But that's temporary for a month or 2. Or there's a death in the family, or he shifted the city, or shifted from one society to another. So you have to see the symptoms over a period of 6 to 8 months, continuously, day in and day night, in all the settings. Ghar pe bhi aise hai, ground pe bhi aise hai, school mein bhi aise hai, picnic pe bhi aise hai. So this is very important. Okay. I've already told you about inattention, that is impaired attention. I've talked about impulsivity, that he's so impulsive that the moment you say something, he will be the first one to get up and go, but he will not even listen to you. So this is impulsivity is very hard. Apne kuch acha, you've told him that, okay, now the class will sing a song. He's the first one to get up. He's not heard whether it will be after this period, before this period, or whether it isn't. And I've already told you about hyperactivity. Now, all these 3 bring in a lot of impairment in his day-to-day life. That's the problem. In ADHD, the children will look very, very cute. They will look like they are all over the place, smart, active. बहुत सारे parents कहते हैं मेरा बच्चा तो इतना active है, मेरा बच्चा तो इतना bubbly hai. But when this hyperactivity, impulsivity, his daily routine, his daily life skills, his daily learning, his daily academic gets hampered, then it becomes a big cause of concern. When chota rehta to his academic life gets hampered and his daily task gets hampered. Jab thoda bada rehta school mein, he will not be able to sustain those 8 periods, 9 periods. Once he is in adolescence, he cannot concentrate on anything. So bike leke bhag jayega. He will roam around with a fast bike. He'll get into the wrong side of the law. He will take to vices like drugs and those. And as adults, he will have a lot of problems because this has been going on. So my humble request to most of the parents who are here, that ADHD doesn't look dangerous, but becomes dangerous over a period of time. And then to modify and to control, because medicines to yahi nahi hai hamare paas. We can only control the symptoms, but basically none of these have cure. So we are going a little faster, right? With the red flags of ADHD. Fidgets and squirms. So when I put an arrow up, it means it's very high. Constantly fidgeting, removing pencils, boxes, ye wo, frequently washroom, wants to go to another child, wants to smile at him. He's like the jester, he's like a class clown. People love him. People love ADHD. But also there is a research, like a lot of ADHD kids, when taken care, are very, very creative. They are the ones who will do inventions and not the academic ones. So that is also a very bright side of the ADHD kids. If you see the history of ADHD kids, you will find when we are doing a lot of research, many CEOs are ADHD because they have been able to sustain their creativity. If you see the read their life histories and if you do a case study on them, okay. But he cannot be quiet. Definitely, he's not that kind. But he's the one who will take part later on in discussion. Once his ADHD is organized and it's channelized, he's the one who will be a debater, will take part in discussions. But you need to channelize this kid. And how to channelize? A lot of coping strategies. Disorganization I've talked about. Focus and attention to detail. So you have to bring in those kind of things, strategies for him to stay on task. Okay. I've already talked about attention to detail is missing. Next, please. Blurts out answers. One good point is he loves answering. So he's that bold, smart kid in the class. He'll get his way. He's street smart kid. ADHDs are all street smart. But I've had so many ADHD kids and LD with me. They are very successful businessmen now. They are like, they're really running business up to 40, 50 crores. But we had to have 10 years of channelizing them. And when they come and meet us now, I'm quite surprised that they are channelized, they are married, some are engaged. So that's the good side about it also. Staying on topic is difficult. The management of ADHD is your key to this child. And completing task is down. As I told you, how will you manage this ADHD kid is your key to it. Patience is your virtue, which will help the parent and the child to manage this problem. Next, please. Some more red flags. He's very impatient. He cannot wait for his turn. Restlessness, anxiety, and insomnia. So these are also his points. Why have we put up an arrow? Because sometimes he's very anxious for doing things and that makes him very creative. But anxiety also kills him. So it's a double-edged sword. He's a very light sleeper. So we have to see that melatonin, which is the sleep hormone, which is the sleep chemical in the brain, has, we tell all the parents who are in ADHD that before sleeping, first put off your lights, make the lights dim, put on the calming music, let him do some pranayam. There is a kind of a routine that we have to inculcate in the ADHD kids for his sleep. Then he will sleep. So like I tell you, behavior management, behavior modification is very important. That's the key to the ADHD kids. Next, please. Appearance of poor memory at times, emotional outbursts. He's very sensitive. He feels very bad. किसी ने उसको कुछ कहा तो रोना धोना शुरू हो जाएगा, and within 5 minutes he's forgotten about it. But he's very sensitive, and he remembers that this teacher or my mother told me this, my father told me this. उसको बहुत बुरा लगता है, लेकिन because his memory is short-lived, he forgets also. That is one thing. Basic instruction is not he can take. Like how we say, get up in the morning, brush your teeth, or open your textbook, open to page 32, paragraph 6, second paragraph, third line. He finds it very difficult to sustain instructions. And tolerance level is low. But there are kids now we find who with ADHD whose tolerance level is very high, so they don't feel the pain so much. Personal relationship, because of disorganization and hyperactivity and all, he doesn't have very good friends. People have to learn to tolerate him, and only few people understand him. That happens in adolescence. That's why we say that when we start managing ADHD from young age, in adolescence he will have less problems. But he needs monitoring in adolescence. He needs his parents monitoring. They have to be constantly. There are very good parents who I've seen who have taken care of their ADHD kids to adolescent, and now these children are very, very successful. So it's the school, it's the parent, it's the counselor, it's the family which will help the child in ADHD. Next, please. ADHD is not a problem of, so he's not lazy, willpower, motivation, intelligence, and inadequate parenting. Most of the people feel he's not doing a task, lazy. Please, he's the most beautiful kid. ADHD kids are very loving. Willpower, he wants to do it. He has got, some of the ADHD kids have got very high IQ. Some have got average IQ. They're excellent. But because his willpower, he cannot sustain on a task. Motivation bhar bhar ke hai, lekin attention to detail is not there. Intelligence is there. Very few are globally slow learners in ADHD. Average intelligence or above average intelligence, and inadequate parenting. So please don't blame yourself if you feel that you've not done justice to the kid. It's not that. Next, please. What is the fallout of ADHD? आपका जो frontal lobe है, frontal executive functioning, which frontal lobe takes care of all this executive functioning. Fallout of ADHD is here, and that's why ADHD has become such a big problem for all of us today. So activity starting, stopping, unko pata nahi chalta hai. Managing his behavior has become such a big problem in our classroom. Organizing everything from pin to piano, his work, his homework, copying from the board, his books, his exam papers is a big problem. He cannot plan. He cannot say that, you know, I will study this, I will do this, I'll go down to play with my cycle, I'll come up. Usko time ka itna pata hi nahi chalta. 3 hours will go in cycling down. Then he'll come up and suddenly realize, 8 baj gaye, abhi to khana hai. And then he'll go to sleep. So planning, his working memory, this is a fallout of ADHD. And problem solving and persisting on a task. So what do you need in life? You need all these executive functions to carry on life, right? And when all your executive functions of the frontal lobe takes a beating, the child is at a loss. Why am I've put this slide? Because I want children to, parents and teachers to realize that later on, what will be your problem with the ADHD kid? Lot of motor accidents, lot of staying on a job or a vocation is problem. Smoking, he takes to it, and lot of injuries. So this is a potential area in adolescence and puberty. So that's why we need to take care of it at a very early age. Some more potential areas. Staying into a relationship, academic failures, and legal difficulties are fallout of the areas of impairment. Of course, I've gone a little higher, but I just wanted to tell you that that's how it goes. The graph from young age to old age, I mean, to adolescence and to adulthood is like that. You can take a snapshot of this. I don't need to tell you. I've just put ADHD in a nutshell. So that's all about ADHD. We still have a lot to go. I'm going to go to the social domains now. Next slide. Rania. SLD red flags. I don't know. I'm not going to go through all the slides of SLD. let me have it in form of a discussion. What do you know about SLD? So you know that there are 4 kinds of SLD, right? You know that there is a problem in listening, thinking, reading, writing, spelling, and computing maths. So SLD is specific learning difficulties. Prana, just stop the slide here. And I will have just a discussion on SLD. Let's have an interactive chat on SLD. Tell me, what do you know about SLD? So then I'm just going to add points in the SLD. Come. You can tell me some points of what do you know about SLD. So what are those 4 terms? Dyslexia. What do you know about dyslexia? ये बहुत बड़े-बड़े terms हैं. Dysgraphia, dyscalculia, dyspraxia. Okay. So dyslexia is reading difficulties, as Sangeeta has said. Reading में क्या problem आता है? कैसे वो read नहीं कर पाते? So I'll just tell you 5 biggest points of SLD. Those points are that the words जो रहते हैं when you're reading the cat sat on a mat or I'm going for a picnic, they cannot decode those words. ये words जो है, they cannot decode them. So they take very long in reading those sentences. Reading कभी-कभी आ जाता है, लेकिन comprehension नहीं रहता है. And sometimes they तारे ज़मीन पे देखे, their words get reversed. They feel that the words are flying. Actually, it happens in the brain. ये बहुत difficult phase है बच्चों के लिए, because when I tell you technically के क्या होता है brain में, when they जैसे बच्चा books are there in front of him, printed books in front of him. When he is reading, certain words go out, certain words go into the brain in the left side, certain go to the right side. He's trying to retrieve those words. Left में कहा गया, right में कहा गया. कोई sentences, certain part of the brain it goes. So the information that he reads is not getting processed properly. That's the biggest problem in SLD. So when he's reading the information goes to different parts of the brain. So जैसे आपका information है, you're listening to me, it goes into your memory and you retrieve it. But in SLD, this is not happening. So there is a lot of reading difficulty, comprehension difficulty. When you say letters reverse ho jate, P and G, so there is a lot of problems in reading. And he cannot comprehend what he reads. Sometimes he reads very well, but he cannot comprehend in reading. Dyscalculia. What is dyscalculia? It's all about maths. So he cannot do maths very well. Numbers he cannot recognize. Reverse ho jate. Word problems. If there is word problems with maths, like you say 2 mangoes plus 2 mangoes, he will not be able to do it. But if you give him just the numbers 2 plus 2, he may be able to do it. So there is a lot of limitations he has in maths.
The primary character.
I'm coming to it. He cannot do basically. Can you mute yourself, please? He may not be able to do measurements, see the time, word problems, double operations. So there are a lot of abstract concepts in maths. He will be able to do functional maths. So when I come to maths, it's a lot of things. Reading, I've already told you, he cannot. Phonics is very difficult for this child. So these are the primary characteristics. The other primary characteristic, thumbs down, means he cannot do. The sounds, so when the teacher is reading, he cannot pick up those was and the sound. It's very difficult. So the teacher read kar rahi or to other bachche read kar rahe, he finds it very, very difficult to read. Even the story, when a teacher has read to him, he cannot recreate a story back. जैसे आप पूछेंगे what is the ending, what were the characters, what was this, words go reversal. I've already talked about that. Next slide, please. So SLD, learning difficulty, is very common. 19% of our children in school have SLD, and they can be easily taken care in mainstream school. SLD के बच्चे are mostly in mainstream school. They do not come to special school unless SLD के साथ high ADHD है, या SLD के साथ globally slow है, or otherwise they have intellectual disability. So some more characters, वो words पढ़ते पढ़ते वो words add कर देंगे या delete कर देंगे. Those are very, very common features in dyslexia. So it's called reading difficulties. The next is, I think we are dealing with dyscalculia, writing difficulties. That is dysgraphia. Dysgraphia is all your writing difficulties. Now, what happens in dysgraphia? They cannot hold the pencil. They cannot write properly. ऊपर नीचे लिखेंगे, margins में नहीं लिखेंगे. They will not have the concept. Big letters, small letters, they write together, and they cannot put their thoughts on the paper. So exam में जब लिखने का आता, that becomes very, very, very difficult for them. So it's crazy. They find it very difficult. But with interventions, with coping strategies, with study skills, reducing their portion, giving them a separate paper, later on helps them a million times. Now, maths difficulty is dyscalculia. So what they cannot do in dyscalculia? Number concept, addition, multiplication, double operation, time, number sense, values are very difficult. And memorizing mental maths becomes extremely difficult. Dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia and dyspraxia, you will pick it up mainly in the first and the second standard. Autism and ADHD, you will pick up within 2 years. Some of the children, if it's a profound SLD, learning difficulties, बहुत ज़्यादा है, you will pick it up. But preferably in K2, you will see when the writing starts, you will pick this up. When the reading starts, you will pick up these characteristics about time, money, solving. Usually SLD, we can spot it at 7 years and we can diagnose it, and we can do formal testing. By 7 years, you can do off this SLD. So we've talked about dyslexia, maths difficulties, dyscalculia. Dyspraxia is motor difficulties, which we are going to talk about in short. Next slide, please, Pradna. So this is your coordination. This is dyspraxia. Big words, but simple. It is motor coordination. So यहाँ पे बच्चा which hand to use, when to hold the pencil, or poor sense of direction. Speech problem. This child also has speech problem. Manipulating finer objects, finer motor skills, all take a beating in dyspraxia. Pradna, just stop here. So these are all the SLD difficulties. Pradna, can we go on to the slide of apna social and the milestones? So we come there. Anybody has any questions on ADHD and the SLD difficulties? Can you please tell me if you have questions on that? We have a big crowd. We have nearly 147 people with us at this point of time. Please tell me. Yeah, please.
Ma'am, I just wanted to know one thing. Like, we have students, like today we teach them, tomorrow they forget everything what we have taught them. So where will we label them this?
That is a working memory problem. The memory is not being able to. So it's called working memory. There are two kinds of memory: long-term, short-term, and working. So this is a problem of working memory. Short-term is when you are hearing me, you've seen a picture, thode dialogues idhar-udhar aapko yaad rehte, it goes into the short-term memory. But for anything to go into the long-term memory, we do recapitulation and we do a lot of things in our classrooms, right? We give a assessment test and all that. So it goes into the long-term memory. But working memory is the most important for learning. So this working memory does not help the child to retain information and to retrieve information. So that's where it takes a beating. It's a part of learning difficulties. Right. Any more questions on ADHD or learning difficulties? Because the next part, what I'm going to go is checklist and how you can observe in the class. I will share a simple checklist with you all, but I'll show you some of the checklists today, how you can, you can do a few checklists. Let's go to that social.
Ma'am,
yeah, developmental domains. Yes, please. Pradna, this is what we need to do. Yes. Tell me.
Yeah, madam, how can we address this issue with parents? Like if we find ADHD child?
I'm coming to it. Just let me quickly go to the developmental domains, because this is what you will need. So this I'm going to share with you. So don't worry about it. How can you checklist as a simple checklist in the class from 0 to 6 years? So there's no babbling by 12 months, no meaningful words by 18 months, limited vocabulary, and cannot follow simple instruction. So if you have this as your checklist, then it's easy to say that this child is having a speech and language development problem. So like that, I've just put a few checklists for you. Of course, I can give you an exhaustive checklist, but for you, this is more than enough. The motor development. If he is not walking by 18 months, that's for the parents. But if the child falls frequently in your class, even on the swing, slide, walking, then definitely there is a dyspraxia problem. Cannot hold crayons, scissors, difficulty with buttons, zippers. So we have these simple checklist for preschoolers. I will send it to Enark and they can send it to you. There are a lot of it on the internet, but we've just narrowed it down. Internet has a vast, you don't know what to pick up and what not. When we do a preschool workshops, we just give them simple things and you can pick it up. No, this is not a sure shot that the child is ADHD and LD and autism. This is just for you to understand that the child may have a problem. May. I'm saying may. I'm very specific. And you need to refer it to a counselor. You are not an authority. You've picked it up. Thank you so much for picking it up because that's early intervention. We will teach you strategies later on as a preschooler, as a foundation block teacher, first, second, third. But this is for you to pick up. So you may refer it to an authority and the authority takes it up with the parent. Yeah. Next. So this is your cognitive checklist. If you want to take a snap, you can take it up, but I will share it up. Next, Pradnya. So we have social and emotional red flags, this is your checklist, what he's doing. So this is simple. You can tick for a child, you can write the name of the child and you can simply tick it. And again, a word of caution, you have to see it over a period of 6 to 8 months. The frequency and the duration is very important. How often it is happening in your 3 hours in your classrooms. Is it happening once? Is it happening 3 times a day? That's where it is. It cannot happen once a week. It will never happen. If the child has these red flags, it will happen at least twice in a day or thrice in a day during the course of this 10 to 12 hours a child is coming. Now comes your part, observation and documentation. So I've shared the checklist with you. So this is your classroom observation template. Date, time, child's name, context. Which context have you seen? Is it when he was playing? Was he doing water play at that time? Was he on the ground? The setting is very important for the child. He may show it only in the classroom, but not on the ground, or he may not show it in the period when the children are having snack, or he may not show it when he's got gross motor skills to do. And also observation behavior. Very important is what did you see when the behavior, your behavior observation is very important, and your unbiased attitude. So you don't put in your words. You just say that I saw the child getting up 10 times while doing a writing task. He broke his pencil in the 10 times that he got up. He sharpened his pencil, or he went to another child, or he went to near the dustbin, or he came near the teacher. So it is factual observation, not what you felt. That is the key for you, like an observation type. So you have to be very factual in observing. There are no emotions, there are no ifs, and there are no buts, because that will help a parent and the authority and the person, development pediatrician, who will diagnose it, right? Next, please. So this is very important, the frequency note. Behavior observed, time period, number of appearances, and your comment. This is your key to understanding the early intervention for the child. If you don't do this, you may not know, you may do it once, twice, you may not know it very carefully. Next, please. And how do you observe? So you have to observe it in the natural setting. This is not conditioned children. You cannot have Pavlov's experiment or Skinner's experiment. Every setting is good to observe. Use structured tools. Like if you're reading and you're setting a reading, use age appropriate reading sentence. If it's K2, give him age appropriate reading sentence to know whether he can read. You don't give him a first standard book or a second standard. Record behavior, not assumptions. Very, very important. Don't jump to conclusion. मुझे ये लगता है, मैं ऐसा सोचती हूँ. No, please. Observe across different days. Maybe one day is good, one day is not good. Observe when the child is tired, when he's come fresh, or when he's come after 2-3 days holidays. So different settings, different backgrounds. Be mindful of the biases I've just talked about. Don't say, वो teacher ने मुझे बोला तो मैं ऐसा ही सोच रही हूँ. It's your observation, not the music teacher's observation, not the observation from the sports, not the observation of the dance teacher. It cannot be like that. Capture context. Capture little videos of it. Very, very important. Snapshots are very important for anybody who's going to, diagnose the child later. And respect privacy. Please don't make this child your kitty party talk, your teacher staff room talk, at the gate talk, or during the lunchtime talk. You cannot be doing that. That confidentiality and the respect for the child is most important. Do observe at different times, be specific, use neutral language. Don't say, I feel that he's got ADHD. You say, I think, I'm going to observe the child a little more and see what can be done. Okay. Note frequent duration. We've talked about it. I've already talked, don't assume emotions. When the child is very hyper or he's very angry or very aggressive, we tend to say, oh, he's aggressive. But he's aggressive because of a trigger, not because he wanted to be aggressive. There was a trigger. There is a trigger. That is why the child has behaved that way. We need to find the trigger, not the behavior. Don't concentrate on the behavior. Concentrate what has happened before, and you'll get a lot of clues to it. Okay. Tools is I can share you the observation sheet, referral forms, and collaborate with the therapist. So there is a loop. What you see, you are going to observe and write it down. And you are going to convey it to the parent very subtly that, have you observed this with your child? Is she at home showing the same way? Or let the parent come and observe the child in school. The best is to observe the child in school in different settings. You show videos of the child. Don't say that I think he's got ADHD, because you are not a pediatrician development. You're not the clinical psychologist. Always refer to your heads or to the counselors. Very, very important. So there's a loop. And somebody asked me communication with the parents. We've gone 10 minutes over time. This is one of my last slides. How will you communicate it to the parents? First, make the parents comfortable when they come to the office. If you have to say, please don't talk at the gate. Don't talk in front of another parent. Give them a specific time when all children have left. Make the parent comfortable. Ask about the progress. Talk about the strength, the positive point. I love that he is very creative. I love when he answers out of the box. Talk like that. First, start with those. Start with the child's strength. Every child has so many strengths. Use factual observation language. But I would say that I would like to share with you what I've observed, if you don't mind. If you feel that the parents are on the offensive, say, this is just what I'm sharing with you. I would love you to give it a thought. If not, then I will leave it up to you. It's best way to confront it, because I'm sure the parent is also observing the same thing at home. So say, I just wanted to share it with you. Don't label. Please, please don't do that. Invite the parent. If the parent is in complete denial mode after 1 month, say that I've still observed a few things. Would you like to see a few videos of your child? Would you like to come and sit in the class? I would be very happy to have you with me. Let's get together and see what can be done. I'm going to try these strategies. Do you want to try these strategies at home? See that your tone is very, very placid. It's not hyper. Have a happy look at your face. Be very calm and comfortable with the parents. Don't have a very stern face. You are the first person whom the parent is going to hear. So denial and shock is with you. And I understand that. But that denial and the shock, we have to turn it into positive affirmation. So I've already talked about, don't use any technical words, like this is it and I feel it is, I read about it. Leave it to the parent to understand the technical word. Believe me, the moment the parent goes home, he's going to switch on the internet and find out a lot about it. Or subtly, he's going to talk to 3 more people and get information. Okay. I've just put 2-3 case studies, but it's okay. We are already above time. If you want to diagnose this through the case study, let's do it quickly. This child rarely makes eye contact, repeats cartoon phrases, avoids playing with peers. You've seen it over a period of 2 weeks, does not respond to the name, avoids eye contact. What do you think it is? What do you think is this child heading towards?
Autism.
Good enough. Okay, let's go on to the next one. I've not made it complicated. I've just made it very simple. Rohan frequently leaves his seat, difficulty sustaining attention, talks excessively, impulsive actions, and struggles to wait for his turn. What are we looking at? Early signs of
ADHD.
Good enough. I'm not going to your documentation. Next, please. Yes, next, please. Cannot hold the pencil, avoids coloring, and gets frustrated easily during fine motor activities. What are you doing? SLD, but which kind of SLD? It's dysgraphia or dyspraxia. Okay, great. Yeah, so this is your documentation. Yeah. So I think these are a few examples I wanted to put. A little about our institute, our services. Can we go a little fast? So we have a special school. We have a kindergarten, which is very for children with special needs. We have early intervention center at Shankarshed Road, Purani Colony, and the new one opening at Pashan. And now we are going for vocational training, which is a very new center which will open up for adults at the age of 18 years. And this is going to be a state-of-art 3 years university program, a 3 years program. And we are introducing things like housekeeping, gardening and agriculture, food processing, fabric enhancement, the jobs which these children can do and lead them towards empowerment and job placement. So these are some of our services. Yeah. We have a teachers training institute. So we have a pre-primary teachers training course for 1 year, recognized by NCTA. We have inclusive educators program, which we have launched very recently. We have an inclusion program where a lot of schools have signed up to make their school inclusive, where we handhold them for a year and then make them independent. We also run a course we are partners with Dinanath Mangeshkar Hospital, and we run our autism course, which is for 6 months and 1 year course. So there's an autism 2 courses. One is for certified foundation course and a postgraduate diploma in autism course. So we are partners with Dinanath. We do a lot of research with the hospital and especially with Dinanath. So we have a lot of volumes of work we do, the 2 institutions does together. And admissions are open for the certified course in autism and also the pre-primary teachers training 1 year course recognized by NCT. Thank you so much. I would love to have your feedback. I would want to see you all on the camera, and I would love to have your feedback in the chat box. Yeah. I hope it was worth the evening today. Yes, so can you please unmute yourself and talk, and let's have you on the camera. That's great. I know you've put things in the chat box, but what have you learned from this? It's very important for me. Hi, Sandhya. Good to see you. Sandhya is there and I feel so good. She's such a great learner. Seeing her sitting here is, I mean, she's such a lifelong learner. I see her everywhere. And I sometimes wonder, she has got so much knowledge. And she, like me, also attends so many webinars. Thank you, Sandhya, for being here. Yeah. So what all of you have learned? What is your takeaway points? Do you feel you know something about how to spot the kids now?
Yeah, it was a wonderful session, and now we'll know how to deal with the kids, or we will be having more better understanding and observing now. We will take it in a more positive way and we'll be able to understand that how to deal with the child.
Right, fine. I have not given you any strategies today because with 1.5 hours, I've already shooted 15 minutes. I couldn't give you strategies, but we will definitely have a follow-up of it.
But
Today
can you have a session on strategies? We'll like to do it soon.
Yes, we will have.
Thank you.
So we've got lovely reviews in the chat box. My most important is not about the reviews. We are past the review stage. At SGA, we are past our review stage. Most important is what can you make that impact with thousands of kids at early age. You need to catch them. You need to send them to the development pediatricians. They are the person. In Pune, elsewhere, we have very good development pediatricians. That's where the job will be done because formal diagnosis. And can you start those strategies in your classroom? So these are simple strategies we talk about. Can you make that little change in your classroom, which is so easy for you to do, which will help these kids to settle down 60%. And you won't be screaming, sit down, do this, don't jump, don't do this. Your energy is wasted. And nobody wants to become teachers these days, right? Because there's so many challenges. We want more and more teachers. And we want, this is the most profession that starts all the professions. If you all are not there, what will happen later on? So don't forget, or don't worry, artificial intelligence, metaverse cannot take your place. Human beings are most important in the child's life. And if he cannot connect with you, he'll miss the bus. And somewhere along the line, when at the fag end of his life, he won't know that you have missed the bus, but you will realize that you've not done justice to it. So when you just reorganize that little environment in your school, 60% of children will settle down girls. And I can vouch by it. And my team is here, Sandhya is here, many people who have heard me time and again will say that early intervention works. And why do I need to do at the mass level? Because parents don't have the money to go for remedial sessions. They cost 1,000 rupees, 800 rupees, 900 rupees. Taking the child, going by rickshaw, the whole one day costs them 1,200. Where is the money? Do we have so much of money today at our disposal? That's why we want to make the impact. Sundarji is not talking superficially. I want less children coming at the remedial. The ones who can afford, please come. But what about parents who cannot afford? That's where you step in. That's where you have to do everything. That's where if you make that little 60% difference, at least they will not be running to a remedial session. And they cut down on their priorities. They cut down on their happiness. They cut down on the second siblings. They cut down on so much of their money. So much saving is gone. And you know that loop just doesn't get solved. That is why you are the key to the strategies of early intervention. I will definitely speak to Enark people and I'll have the ABC of preschool strategies for you all. Right from okay. Anything, any other message or anything you would like to know more, please ask me. Yeah. So I think I'll wish you a very happy weekend. Enjoy yourself. You've got enough of things. I can easily share you the notes. I want to share the notes because we want to share more and more knowledge with people at SGA. Have a lovely weekend. Relax, enjoy, and hope to see such a lovely audience. So many people have attended the seminar. Thank you. Bye, Sandhya.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Rashmi.
you. Bye, ma'am.
Masud ma'am, I'm sure everybody here has learnt a lot from you. And thank you so much for this very, very informative and impactful session. And thank you everyone for participating and staying through the whole webinar. And I'm sure, ma'am, Masud ma'am, the chat box is full of doubts. I'm sure they'll be connecting with you at some level.
If you want, I can answer one or two very crucial questions. I'm okay with.
Yes, ma'am. I think I'll just open the chat box and we'll just check it.
Yeah.
And
Ma'am, good
anyone
evening.
who
Can I
has questions?
can I ask
Yes,
a
you
question?
can ask me
Yes.
questions.
I had put that in the chat box actually. Like I have a child I can identify as a special kid, but the parents are not ready to accept that he's a special child. So how do I handle such kind of parents?
The
And
best
second
way.
question also, I'll also put my second question. Do such kids need? Can they settle with the same school, or they need special schools? Means, or do you recommend special schools for them, or
So
they can adjust with the other?
No, I'll answer your first question, like second question with do they need special school? It depends on case to case, child to child, and exhaustive data collected. I would personally feel that if the child is in mainstream school, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Though I run a special school, only severe and moderate cases should go to special school. Whether it's mild ADHD, mild autism, mild LD, have a lot of scope in the mainstream school. The only thing, the mainstream school has to be an inclusive school. That's what we are making all schools. We are going to schools and we are helping them to become inclusive and reorganizing the environment and the teacher's knowledge and all, without creating much chaos in the teacher's life. But as I said, every child cannot go to a special school. But you have to study the case, you have to collect information, you have to collect data, you have to see what are his challenges, what behavior challenges he has, what sensory challenges he has. Behavior, as the child grows big, is a big challenge for mainstream school to handle. And that's where we need to put them into special school. There are certain children who will not even fit for special school, can only do home tutoring because the behavior is injurious to others. He self-harms himself. He harms the other children. So there are extreme cases of home-bound programs, home tutoring, special school, or he may only be in the early intervention center for remedial one-to-one till he settles down and he's ready for transition. So every case has to be dealt with differently. But saying this, data collection, data science will be very important. Each child's data, and to observe him over in different setting. So when we do the screening, we observe the children in the natural setting before we decide whether he should go to a EIC, early intervention center, or to special school, or he's still not ready for transition to a school. So that's the thing. I think I answered.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I have my one kid here, Janisha, right on the camera. She has been in my special school and I'm super proud of her that today she's a learning support assistant in my school. She was a special child. She had corneal lunch. So we have this program when we absorb our kids back into our special school as learning support assistant. And Janisha is attending this seminar. And I'm super proud of these kids who have come back to us.
Ma'am, there's a question here, which is saying that I'm a community medicine physician and I appreciate the webinar a lot. I'm wondering how can I take it to the communities for an early diagnosis and intervention?
So advocacy and awareness, same kind of a program. Advocacy is the main thing that works in the community. So you take it to the community. So we are having advocacy and awareness in corporates. We have done it in especially autism because most of the IT people have autistic children and it's a proven fact. So we have it in corporates, we are doing it. We do it for NGOs, we do it for Rotary clubs. So that's where your main people are sitting and they need to hear that. So it's a school is one part of it, but advocacy, the community level is the most important because parents are there. So when we go to corporates and we do this, it's an eye-opener for them. And then they'll come out that my child is autistic, the other one will say my child is an LD. And suddenly we find that out of 50 parents whom we have addressed corporate leaders, we have 20 who have already children with special needs. So I think that kind of awareness is needed. Mass level awareness is needed. Yes. Any more questions?
Is SLD genetic?
I've not gone into any causes, but we do a lot of research. Like the genes, like how they get it, how the mutations of the genes takes place, how the genetic pool changes of the genes through the environment. What do you get from your mother, father, when that, it's like a software. Genetic software is formed, when the baby is formed. 26 chromosome from here, 26, 23, 23 to the 46 chromosome. And that's the first software. That's the first cell that is formed. And then the cell keeps on expanding. So your software keeps on going longer and bigger and all. Then what happens to that software? So medically, there's a lot of things happening which we've not taken. How do you identify? Have we identified the autism gene? We've not been able to do. There are a lot of theories, there are a lot of research, but we've not been able to identify. In fact, I was just telling my team yesterday that we are getting very complicated cases. Autism with ADHD was common. Autism with intellectual disability, autism with Down syndrome, autism with transgender, which we are getting, which was unheard of. So these kind of complicated cases, the children are being born. And definitely that has to be done with our lifestyle, our environment, our late marriages, putting off the kids. So many corporates, people asked us, we are scared of getting babies. Definitely, because they're all into careers. They're nearly 37, 35. And there is a high risk, at a certain age because of the vices, because of the sperm count. So there's so much to this whole thing. It's not so easy, right? That is why we have more neurodiversity these days.
Ma'am, someone has asked, does screen have any impact on this?
Lots. Visual autism is virtual autism, we call it, because of the screen time. Screen time creates havoc. So all the mothers who are sitting there, they love putting on this Cartoon Network and making the child eat. But you don't know what is happening. This ADHD is mainly related to screen time because you have to understand in the screen, the images are moving very fast. Cartoon Network, let's take Popeye. Full time he's running around, thrashing people, bringing down people. Look at Tom and Jerry. Is it calm, quiet? They show the movement of that screen or that image is so fast in animation that the child brain has got tuned to it, that in my real life, he wants to see everything fast. So he doesn't like his teacher explaining on the body and become very restless. He wants the teacher to move fast because full time he's seen animated images moving at a breathtaking speed, right? So this has got his neurons, his brain has developed and said, this is what is normal and this is what is expected now of you. So the video games, why do we say don't play video games? You see that it brings so much of anxiety in you because the child, let's take these young kids who are playing video games. They're so restless because in the video game, everything is so fast. They have to click on a button. But that brain is getting tuned to these new things. And once the brain makes these new kind of connections and new kind of neurons, it's established in the brain that this is the way of life. And then anything, see, even for surfing channels, what have we done now? We cannot even wait for a second if it's not up to our like. Did we do that first? No. So our brain has got tuned to that. Once the brain is getting tuned to that, that becomes a problem for us. So that is why screen time is, and plus the radiation. Forget that. The brain itself, it's the sleep hormones, that is melatonin and serotonin, are not produced in the right manner because of the screen time. So there are a lot of side effects. We can have a lot of debates on it and we can keep on telling you about it. But screen is, so any like coding and decoding at a young age, you have it in form of an activity, but not at the screen. Nothing at the screen. So if you imagine the smart boards, if, in fact, most of the research says that don't use smart boards till it is needed. Right? You can show an audio vision. See, even Finland have done and Swedish have done away with smart boards in school. As long as more and more research is, we know what is the harmful effect of it. Not that I have anything against anything, but it's harming our children, right? Now it's up to us to understand what to take in and what not to take in.
Ma'am, it's 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I think it will end.
You can, okay, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much, Masrat ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, participants. I think we'll just wrap this up. Thank you so much for participating. Simran, you may end the meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Do we get the e-certificate?
We will be putting it in the group. There will be a form and you will have to answer the form and then you can get the e-certificate.
Oh,
Ma'am,
thank
there
you.
is training center in Pune.
The training center is in Sundarji's, which is, I'm not exactly sure of the location.
Okay.
So Sundarji's is the training location, and otherwise we'll be launching a online course in association with Sundarji's, a 10-week program
Okay.
in July. So we will keep you updated in that group.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Simran?
Bye.
Hello.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
And
Thank you, Parvati.
and
Thank you.